Monster RX93.1 presents All Out, your daily morning pick-me-up. All out hits, all out celebrity interviews, all out sports and showbiz news. Your hosts, Rico Robles and Carla Aguas.
So, guys, being content creators, there's always like a need to be creative in terms of whatever it is that you're posting. And I mean, especially when all of this first started, I think we can all agree, everyone was a little bit like, what? Like, wait, like, this is my life now. I can only imagine, like, for content creators like you guys, it must have also been a big blow to your inspiration or your creativity. So can you say, like, did you experience that, like, especially at the start or maybe until now? Like, there are days where you're just so uninspired, like, you have absolutely no gana, as they say, to create content?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, when it first like broke out in London, it was very overwhelming, and I know there was a time wherein I kept feeding myself news to the point it became toxic, and like that's when, and I remember like literally checking my phone every 10 minutes about the coronavirus case. And obviously it was not healthy, and obviously it put my mood down and everything was going down, and it was like reality hitting you. And that's when I realized how it's so important to also regulate how much news you feed to yourself, because it really affects your mental health on a different level, especially knowing that this is a situation we can't control. And at the same time, like for the first few weeks, thankfully, like for my school, we were having our Easter break. So timing was on my side in terms of when it broke out, we didn't really have to do much schoolwork yet. So at the start, it was more of you just have to give yourself time to like digest everything, or like really like think through it, because obviously like a lot of people won't take this easily, since this is not a light matter to take in, and it's about giving yourself time as well. I mean, like you would be uninspired from time to time. It's about not being too hard on yourself as well, because if you keep being too hard on yourself, you're gonna beat yourself even more, which becomes a domino effect. And it's like you learn, like with that, you might not be able to like pick up properly if you keep beating yourself up, like why am I not doing work, why am I not like producing content, when in fact if you take that like bit of like that day off and then the next day you're back to your game again. It's really important to have that balance, most especially now, because like we're confined into our own space. So this is what we have, and this is what we have to make the most out of it.
Is the scheduling now more important that, especially now everybody's on that enhanced community quarantine globally? So is the schedule of the work schedule more crucial now because you have such little to work with, but you have to make the most of it? Does that play a big factor when it comes to you girls?
Not really, because I feel like we have all the time now. So it depends on whether we want to produce content on that day, we'll do it. But also there will be days where we don't have any content. Because I think it's important that we have like our own personal time to get inspired, to have time to also disconnect from everything. Because I feel like when we are we spend too much time on social media, it can be so overwhelming with just the news, other people's opinions, and just everything. So I think it's important that we take a break from time to time and not really post too much.
Yeah, just going back to what Renee was saying about not being so hard on ourselves. That's why it's super important to practice self-compassion, because I mean, with how things are, there's not really much that you can do. So, just take it easy, relax, don't stress yourself out too much, because it's also not gonna be productive for you. So don't force anything. If you need to take a break, go for it. It's fine. Like with all the bad things happening around us right now, we should allow ourselves to, feel like, because we can't control what's happening, so it's fine if we feel helpless, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine, like, don't think about it too much. Just relax and you'll be fine.
That's really good. That's a good point, especially when it comes to self-compassion, because I think a lot of us also feel a pressure to be productive. You know how you see so many people like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that during this time. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, should I be doing that as well? Like, should I be busy? Should I be doing something 24/7 during this time? And people forget that they have to be kinder to themselves as well, especially when it comes to things like that. Are there any pressures though, being content creators? Because I think this is something that people don't realize as well from you guys. Like, Bea, you were saying that, no, it's also important to give ourselves like a day off or whatever to really just reset and get inspired. But like, do you feel a sort of pressure like, oh my gosh, but I also have followers, or I'm not posting as much as I used to, maybe I should start again? Like, do you guys feel that also?
Not really, because even before the lockdown, I made it a point to always give time for myself. Because before, I used to be the type, when I was starting out with content, I'd be the type to always put content, create content, go to events, do everything all at once. And it got to a point where it was just too overwhelming. So for me, it's really about creating that balance between your work and your personal life. So even with the lockdown or not, I think it's important that we take a break. We don't really put too much pressure, because when we do, that's when the creativity and the inspiration stops, because you're too overwhelmed, you're too stressed out, you don't have any creative juices flowing with you anymore. So yeah.
I think it's like, at first, it's like I would get pressured, but at the same time, I don't want to end up my hobby, or like, for example, like me creating content becoming a chore, and you end up hating it, then you get burnt out.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's like, I want to produce content because I enjoy what I'm doing and I want to inspire people with it, or like strike conversations because of it. And if I feel that people are watching me too much, or they expect me to post so much to the point that I keep posting and posting and posting and keep creating to the point it becomes a chore, then I kind of lose my essence of it. I kind of lose my main purpose to it. So it's like, you like, as you go throughout this industry, like as time passes by, you kind of learn to pace yourself as well. Because if you keep producing, it's like it becomes an errand, and then it becomes something that you lose like meaning to it already. You lose that connection with it. So
have you guys ever experienced a burnout? And if ever you guys have experienced a burnout, what do you guys do? What did you guys do to overcome that burnout, that creative burnout?
I've experienced burnout so many times throughout like the span of my career. So what I've always done to kind of just bounce back, I would always remind myself why I started in the first place. Because over time, like, all this external pressure got to me. I felt like I wasn't good enough, or I felt like I wasn't pleasing everyone, and everything just piled up, and it kind of really got to me. But yeah, when I talked to all my friends, all of them just told me, always remind yourself why you started in the first place, why and also, like, I guess your purpose and your why into getting this. And yeah, that's always helped me, just like reminding myself of that.
And having a strong foundation, right? That of friends, a circle of friends.
Like having a support group helps so much also.
I think it's
like
cool
that's great.
You are super close and you're all sort of doing the same thing and you're all doing the same thing. So it's easier as well to be able to reach out, diba? Do you guys do that? Like if like one of you feeling overwhelmed,
like to talk about it with like work stuff and like content creation.
Yeah, and it's like I think it another thing with like getting burnt out is like when you get burnt out, you end up comparing yourself even more, which makes the situation kind of even worse. And it's like I think it's also about you need like for your own well-being, it's about knowing when to step back a bit and just take a break and pick yourself up when you feel that it's right. Because obviously, like if you're burnt out and then you see other people working like how they are working and you end up comparing yourself even if you don't want to compare yourself, it's just how the mind works and how powerful the mind could be. It's more of just in any field that you're doing, whether it's fashion, whether it's art or law or whatever, it's like you just need to know when to take a step back when you know it's just not good for you anymore as well.
Yeah. Like taking a step back and reevaluate or reassess from time to time is very important, because sometimes, like what Renee said, we tend to compare ourselves to like other content creators, and sometimes we end up like straying away from our end goal, I guess, for our career, and we just end up doing what everyone else is doing. Like we just start following like the pack or whatever, and it's like you're no longer staying true to yourself.
That's so true though, because it can get you can get easily lost in it when everybody is doing something or everyone is happy on whatever is popular. You know, it'll be easier to do the same, but you also have to think like, is that authentic to me? Is that something that I would normally do or enjoy doing, right? Speaking of things like inspiration, especially at a time like this where things are kind of on a standstill, where are you guys drawing your inspiration from, or how are you keeping busy? Like you, Renee. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but now they do. You're in London. You're actually studying fashion, and you said you still have school, right? So aside from creating content, you're doing school. Can you tell us more about that?
Recently, like we started our online classes already, and obviously it's kind of a struggle in a way, since fashion design is a practical course with mannequins and sewing machines and everything. And like I love my professors for like having to reevaluate the whole curriculum to fit this situation. And obviously at first we were all in an uncertain position, like how is this gonna work? But then as time progressed by, we knew which to prioritize. And obviously it's like for us now, it's about looking at the business aspect of it, because as a fashion design student, if you want to build a brand, we also have to look at the business side of it. And a lot of us, especially some of my seniors and a few other alumni, they ended up leaving the business side last. But when you think about it, brand values and like what you stand for as a designer, who your customer profile is, it's the core of a fashion designer. So that's an important thing to remember. And it's like, for now, like we have rapid fire projects. Like what I've been doing before this interview is that I've been working on a project about rapid fire, which is I have to design for an ideal customer, but I design based on a specific brand. And then after we submit that, we switch profiles with other students and design based on their profile. So it kind of gets our creativity going, even if we're confined in this small space.
So the challenge just there is like to actually adapt to whatever the file of that person is and try to get their style. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So, and like I think like what my professor told me will apply to everyone. It's like now we live in a new normal. And obviously it's like if you're the same person after this pandemic, what the hell did you learn throughout this quarantine? And if you put it in a fashion design perspective, if you're a starting brand and you do not change the way the fashion industry works prior like the COVID-19, you're gonna be out like post COVID-19, because you're not keeping up with sustainability, you're not keeping up with the measures, you're not being a brand of influence. You're not being a brand that has a purpose. That's why like right now for our pre-masters, they want us to think about the new normal and how, because obviously when we get out in the industry, we're gonna be like the frontliners for fashion design, because obviously we're gonna be the emerging designers.
Yeah.
So we have to make way for that particular change to happen.
So Renee, I think you're going to be designing a lot of PPEs and face masks.
I mean, I would love to.
Material, right? That's the main thing.
I would love to, but the thing is, how, like, if I was in Manila, I would have been doing that, but I can't. There's no fabric supply here. There's nothing.
But at least you still have school. That keeps you busy as well. Bea, how are you keeping busy, and where do you draw your inspiration from? Like, being a content creator, are there other content creators that you like to look at or draw inspiration from? Like,
well, when I'm on social media, a lot of my inspiration comes from the people I follow. So even with Renee, Jeline, and even other people. So if you just look at like the people I follow, they are my main inspiration. But I think it's also important for me, like this is my motto in life, disconnect to reconnect. Because I feel it's so important that when you're just too how do I say this, exposed to social media, you can get kind of lost with yourself. Like oh, should I join like this trend? Should I also hop on like the TikTok bandwagon? And I think it's important that when you disconnect and go back to yourself, like you remember like who you are, what your real inspiration is, like your true style, your taste and everything, what your favorite art is, your favorite music. Like for me, that's what inspires me when I do the things I enjoy. It doesn't even have to be like fashion. It can be just watching a movie that I like and like my favorite era. I like vintage movies, a lot of 90s as well. That's why a lot of my clothes or my style is very 90s in a way. And yeah, when I do the things I enjoy in like my personal time, I get to produce more content and be a lot more inspired.
How about music? Does music inspire you guys? Do you play a certain song when you guys are creating and putting together something? You play tape. So what are the tracks that you guys are currently, what is a song just currently inspiring you guys to put out some content right now?
I really love Dua Lipa's new album. I love her so much.
I listen to a lot of Lizzo because she just keeps me moving.
Rihanna.
Lizzo and Rihanna. Yeah. See, we got the ultimate girl gang right here.
Rihanna hasn't even put out new music. I'm so mad.
Yeah, they're so inspired by her old music.
Yeah, her old music is amazing. Jeline, how about you? Because Bea was saying, like people are trying out new platforms, trying new things. Aside from Instagram, you're also on TikTok now. I keep pushing for this because, guys, if you didn't know, Jeline has an amazing TikTok. We will also leave it linked in the Facebook video. Her videos are so funny.
Oh, God.
Were you like cringing to start? Like, I do not want to get into this. I'm never going to get into this. And then all of a sudden, hi, follow me on TikTok.
Oh my God. Okay, so back in November, I was in San Francisco, and I would be with my cousin who is like younger than me, he's 17, and he kept telling me, Ate, go on TikTok. It's so fun. Make a TikTok right now. Let's make TikToks. And I already had an idea what TikTok was, and he would show me all of these videos, and I would think, these are so dumb. Like, what are they doing? They're just making pa cute, pa bebe. It's like, it's so like, what is this? It's not bringing any value to me, kind of thing. Yeah. Like it's so pointless, basically.
That's how we feel right now, Carla and I. That's and then perhaps how many followers you got now?
I don't think I have that much yet because I'm still like starting out. But yeah, at the beginning I was just so against it, and I even told my cousin, I am never going to make a TikTok. You can never get me on there. A few months later, I ate my words, and I'm there so much. I fritter away my time just watching all these videos, and like, okay, there are some good content on there once you Once
What
you
was
find
the
the one.
first TikTok video that you've ever made?
The first TikTok video that I ever made was with my friend EJ, who's also under the same talent management as the three of us. And we just did this like little dance of along with the song of Doja Cat, the Say So. Yeah, the song Say So. That's the first one. I was like, you know what, EJ, let's do this. Let's make a TikTok, and that's what started it.
And once you cross over, that was it.
There's no turning back.
You're born
Okay,
in the
convince
house.
Carla.
Favorite.
Convince Carla to open one. Convince
No,
Carla.
You're not gonna. Renee, Bea, do you guys have TikTok?
Yeah. Yeah. We gave in also. I told
It's
myself
inevitable.
that the last
Carla, you're gonna get
episode
on
that
it, I
I'm not
swear.
gonna make TikTok. 2 weeks later, I made TikTok. I was like, okay, give in.
So Bea has one. Renee, do you have one?
Yes.
Oh my God.
They deleted my board in the house video. I'm so
Why? You have to make a new one, especially since you said it yourself. Your bathroom and your laundry and your kitchen, it's all there anyway. So like you have different settings now. You have different backdrops. Girls, thanks so much for joining us today. I mean, like we've learned a lot. I'm sure the monsters have learned a lot
Yeah.
when it comes to content creation and staying creative despite the circumstances. Do you have a message for your followers, for the people that are listening, for everybody that's just feeling not too good about this entire situation, or they feel uninspired?
I guess to everyone who's tuned in, I just want to tell you guys, like, just hang on, and it's okay to be not okay. Again, practice self-compassion, and also stay informed with the news. Don't be that person who's like out of touch with everything, you know, and yeah, I guess conscious consumption as well of social media and the news, so you don't get too stressed out with everything. And take care of yourselves, of course.
Yeah. I think you should just listen to yourself, like what you feel you need for the day or for the moment. Like if you feel tired, rest. If you feel inspired, go create, go produce, do something. If you're feeling a bit lazy, just throw in a movie, play a video game. If you're feeling lonely, go talk to your friends, go talk to your family, text them, video call. I think it's important that you just follow what your emotions are telling you to do during this time.
Yeah, and I think it's just more about giving yourself some space, because I always live by what my parents told me, that the sun will always rise the next day. So it's about just like feeling out and not putting too much pressure on yourself as well. If you have responsibilities you have to do, you can do it, but obviously don't be too hard on yourself, especially when you see other people doing like so much and then you're stuck in a rut. But obviously it's like we all have our own pacing in this lockdown, so just take your time and we'll all get there. We'll all make it through after this quarantine.
Girls, what would be the first thing that you guys are gonna do when the quarantine ends? What would be that first thing that you guys?
I'm gonna go out. You will not see me.
I have trust issues with that.
I'll eat out. all my cravings.
Yeah,
Like,
all
my restaurants, I need to eat out.
yes.
So food and just going out, basically not staying home as much as possible when
Yeah.
this is over.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for joining us. Please
You guys, thank
invite
you.
everybody to follow you on all of your socials.
Everything is just at Jeline Catt, so that's JELINECATT. All of my social media.
For me, it's Renee DG, so that's RENEEE, so that's EEDG on all my socials except TikTok. It's 4 E's.
Hey.
And mine is Bea Marin with an X. Same name with all my social media accounts, IGFB, Twitter, and on TikTok just Bea Marin.
Okay.
Dot, I think, yeah, dot.
Not.
There, you can follow them there, guys. Get your inspiration. It just goes to show that even at this time, content creators also have days where they don't feel inspired or days where they struggle, but they power through it. And I honestly feel like this was such an inspirational and uplifting episode of the show. So thank you, girls, so much.
Girls, thank you for letting us in your homes. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Shout out, by the way, to Leading Edge. Thank you, Leading Edge, for Jeline, Bea, and Renee as well. We love you guys. Thank you. Thanks, girls!
Thank you.
Everyone, awesome interview. Don't forget to press like, to share, to follow everybody that's on this. Till then, she is Carla Aguas.
He's Rico Chismosa.
Catch you again on the next one. Peace here on the Monster.
All Out with Rico and Carla. All Out music and all out fun. Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Manila's hottest Monster RX 93.1.